For thousands of years, the people of the Iron Islands dedicated themselves to a culture of raiding and pillaging while worshipping the drowned god and living off the sea. Although they valued their independence, they often united under powerful families like the Greyjoys of Pike or House Hoare, who went on to conquer the Riverlands. But after the doom of Valyria and Century of Blood, House Targaryen of Dragonstone invaded the continent and conquered nearly all of Westeros. For over a century, the Ironborn accepted subjugation, choosing House Greyjoy to lead them as lords under a Targaryen king, and were now forced to make the long journey to Essos or beyond to follow their Reaver traditions. In 113 AC, Dalton Greyjoy was born, and early on in his life proved a valiant and skilled warrior. By the age of 5, he was rowing for the Ironborn, and by the age of 10 was raiding the Basilisk Isles alongside his uncle. By 14, Dalton had fought in a dozen engagements and sailed as far as Old Gis, even claiming 4 salt wives. Salt wives were women taken as secondary partners for Ironborn warriors, tending to their needs while away at sea. And while a man could possess several salt wives, they could only take one rock wife, who served as their legitimate spouse on the Iron Islands. During Dalton's travels, he also came to possess a Valyrian steel sword called Nightfall, taken off the dead body of a corsair. At the age of 15, the young Greyjoy saw his uncle killed during a raid against the Stepstones, and so Dalton went on a vicious rampage in retaliation, emerging from the battle covered in blood from a number of wounds, and was henceforth known as the Red Kraken. Later that year, Dalton's father passed away, and so he returned to the Iron Islands and claimed the lordship of the territory, and immediately ordered his people to build ships and train warriors. In 129 AC, the continent of Westeros was torn apart by civil war following the death of King Viserys I. Dalton Greyjoy, now 16 and Lord of the Iron Islands, was said to have laughed when he heard of the outbreak of war, and was now being courted by both sides for the power of his mighty fleet. The Green faction, representing King Aegon II, offered to make Dalton master of ships if he would sail his forces to Blackwater Bay and engage the fleet of Lord Corlys Velaryon. The Black faction, representing Queen Rhaenyra, however, offered a better deal in the eyes of the Ironborn, giving them free rein to do as they please so long as they target Green faction territories. The Red Kraken therefore fought for the Blacks, raiding the coast of the Westerlands, looting and pillaging without mercy as they had in the days before Targaryen conquest. Although Lord Jason Lannister was busy fighting in the Riverlands and was therefore unable to help defend his lands, his wife Johanna Lannister took action, sealing the gate of Casterly Rock and saving their fortress from being attacked. The rest of the Westerlands, however, suffered greatly, with Lannisport sacked, the Lannister fleet burned, and hundreds of women taken captive, including the favorite mistress of Jason Lannister and their daughters. Dalton Greyjoy then took his forces to capture the city of Case, before moving on to Fair Isle and Fair Castle, ruled by House Farman. Again, the Ironborn ravaged the land, with the Red Kraken capturing 5 of Lord Farman's daughters, keeping 4 for himself as salt wives, and giving the 5th and least attractive of them to his brother VERON Greyjoy. Although the Dance of the Dragon civil war ended in 131 AC with the ascension of Rhaenyra's son, King Aegon III, Dalton refused to stop his raids, openly defying Targaryen rule. Through his many years of battle and return to the traditional ways of the Ironborn, the Red Kraken was widely admired and respected by the warriors of his homeland, but in the end lost his life when a concubine named Tess slit his throat in the middle of the night before throwing herself into the sea. With their leader dead, having never taken a rock wife and produced any legitimate heirs, the Iron Islands fell to infighting, with Dalton's sons, born by salt wives, as his closest living heirs. The Red Kraken became a legend amongst the Ironborn and beyond for his ravaging of the Westerlands, but the Lions of Casterly Rock would not allow these raids to go without response. Unfortunately, Jason Lannister died during the Dance of the Dragons, and so it fell to his widow, Johanna, who sent her men-at-arms to sail aboard the fleet of Sir Leo Costaigne, Lord Admiral of the Reach. In 134 AC, this combined force raided the Iron Islands, capturing one of Dalton Greyjoy's salt sons, gelding him, and making him into the court fool of Casterly Rock.